Alrighty, welcome back. We've got arms today. Feeling good, got good energy. Even though I did cardio this morning, still seemingly got quite a good amount of energy. As the yawn start. But yeah, feeling good today. It was good to finally get back onto the treadmill and do some cardio. That's because I'm really into an anime at the moment, so wanting to get as many episodes in as I can. So that's my my way of watching it, and because the episodes are about 20 minutes long, means I can get about 2 and a bit episodes in a day, which is really good. Overall, the cardio went really well. Sat in the mid 120s, even though my watch will say that my average will be lower. That's just from the warm up and the cool down. So pretty much for 90% of the time that I kept looking at my watch, it was pretty much in the mid 120s. So that's good. That's where I want it to be. It felt good. Didn't get any abs done just because it's a bit short on time this morning. But that's right. The main point was to go and do my walk, so that's what I did. And feeling good. Other than that, for arms, should be a good day. Nothing out of the ordinary for today. Nothing changed. I might try and see how the weighted dips go. Might try and go up, but I might have to push out maybe a third working set, just because I'll need enough room and space to warm up to the weight. Otherwise, it's going to be too much load on my muscles and joints too early, and that will just cause issues. So, I'm falling into the same kind of issue I had with doing bench for a while. Was that got to a point that the weights that I was doing or wanted to do, I needed quite a few working sets to get up to that point. It just became a very long exercise. So it's trying to find a good balance between them, which I reckon I'll probably end up finding. But just for the meantime, it's doing its job, but I can foresee that that's going to be an issue that's going to come up. But that's right. For today, we'll just try and do it as normal. And if anything, if we're going to increase the weight, probably just slightly increase it per set, so that way it's not as big of a jump or as kind of a shock to the system. I think that will probably be kind of a good strategy, I guess, but we'll just play it by ear. Other than that, everything else will stay the same as long as we can get the exercise, get the machines for the exercises. If not, I've always got substitutes in place and workarounds, but ideally don't want to do that. So we'll just let's just pray that we can get a full day in. But excited, looking forward to it. Noticed, at least for me, that I feel like starting to get some good development in my arms and more definition in my triceps, which I feel like is good. Whether or not that's the case is another point, but I'm going to try and take kind of progress photos or posing a bit more regularly, so that way I can try and be able to see more visually kind of my progress over time. Because that's obviously the biggest marker that I can see, other than taking measurements. But then that also might depend on the day that I've done. I might take my measurements after an arm day and then take them again, in a week or two's time after I've done, hammies where I haven't hit arms in, 3 or 4 days. Then it's not going to be probably a good representation of, growth as such, because the arm day one will kind of inflate the results. So whereas being able to see it visually is probably a much more solid marker, I guess, to go off of. But yeah, that's taking into account that I'm regular with my progress photos, similar lightings, all that stuff. But I think we've got a good solution in place by taking the progress photos, and ideally going to do them on a Thursday, do them a bit later in the week, because on a Thursday is usually chest, but still there's plenty of room to take a good progress photo, I reckon, on Thursday. Friday not so much, just because Friday's a bit hit and miss, so I'd rather not take it on a day that's not going to be as consistent, whereas Thursdays are at the moment they're pretty consistent, so might as well take them on that day. So yeah, let's go from there. Other than that, everything else is going good. Happy with my current progress, happy with my results at the moment, and yeah, just going to keep on kicking through, do the best I can, and yeah, just trying to ride the most amount of energy that I can. A lot of the time in these afternoons, especially after doing cardio in the morning, my energy levels are pretty low, so yeah, just want to try and really push through at the moment, and take use of the extra little bit of energy I've got. But yeah, it's all good things to come, very good things to come. I'm going to keep trying to post a bit more regularly. YouTube's kind of the steady platform for me at the moment, so just trying to make sure that other social medias are either keeping up or staying as consistent, so that's kind of a focus for me as well at the moment. And all my links are in the description if you're listening through to this point. But yeah, and the only other what would you say, modification that I want to make to the content would probably be trying to chat in between sets or during sets about what I'm doing or how I'm feeling, and just have a bit of a talk that way, and then ideally be able to lower the amount of sets that I'm filming, so that way it's a bit more, cut one of the warm-up sets out and just record the 2 working sets with a bit of commentary. That should be enough. That's the next stage. I said it last week, and I figured out a way to be able to do it. I just don't have the confidence at the moment to be able to do it. I've got the confidence to be able to whip out a camera and a tripod and just record that way, but talking to the camera is another thing. If everyone had their headphones on blasting music, then it probably won't be an issue, but it's just the slight embarrassment and anxiety doing it when you know that people aren't, and you look like a bit of a crazy person talking to a camera, but sometimes it's got to be done. But yeah, it's just building that confidence up, but all in due course, all in due time, and yeah, hopefully you'll come along for the ride with me. But anyway, I'll leave it here for now, and yeah, I'll cut to when we start doing some dips and start getting this arm day underway, so I'll see you then.
How many sets do you have left? Yeah.
Are you guys just both paid? No. Thank you so much, sorry. Are we doing facials first? Yeah. Facial. Oh. I like to go high. Yeah. But, not. Thank you.
Alrighty, arms are done. It was an interesting session. It was a productively unproductive session, as I put it. Got lots of filming done, which was good. So I'm happy with that. And the exercise I did, just did everything except the hammer curls, which was good. Had probably too much of a break in between some exercise because I was chatting a bit. But I was happy with all the lifts, but I fatigued pretty quickly because on the weighted dips I put quite a lot more weight on this session, which was good, but it meant that my triceps were just so heavily fatigued. And then going into cable curls, I tried to make the form stricter, so then obviously my buys were killing me. So yeah, it was a good session. It was a good test to see where I can actually really push myself to for those exercises, and can definitely push myself further. Just obviously my body needed to rest for a bit, but it was, just getting used to the increased level of fatigue, which can be worked through. So that's not a biggie. Yeah, it was annoying that I couldn't do the hammer curls, but time was getting away from me. Ended up being quite a long session, and I'm going to be stuck in peak hour, but that's all right. Yeah, overall really happy. Going to try and increase the weight on some of the exercise. I think with dips it's at a good spot at the moment. I don't think I want to increase too much from here, as it's really it's a good heavy push, if anything maybe slightly more. But everything else could probably try and go. I'll probably try and do the same weight as today next week, only because that way I can try and work through the fatigue, for fatigue management. And yeah, then for the other lifts, try and increase them a little bit, just to try and push myself that little bit more, so that way, like with overhead press, really increase the weight and made my form a lot stricter. And it was getting to 8 was probably getting to 5 reps was fine. Getting to the 8th rep was pretty difficult. Then 8 to 10 or even to 12 was really pushing, and that's what I want for most of the exercises. And it's what ended up happening today. It was just the fatigue hit a bit too quick for me, and I couldn't adjust as well, but that's all right. Yeah, other than that, happy, very happy. Yeah, tomorrow is going to be interesting because I want to try and go heavy again, because I've set myself a very temporary goal that in about 3 to 4 weeks I want to be trying to attempt 180 on the plate squats, because that'd be cool, doing 4 plates. So yeah, that'll be an amazing goal to achieve. But obviously I've got to let my body and let everything adjust accordingly. It's not saying that I can just smack onto the bar. I've done 180 before on squats, not on plate squats, so I've got to listen to my body, do it properly, and not force the weight up when I can't handle it. So there's a difference between pushing myself and having high intensity with a higher weight, and putting yourself at risk. So it's a fine balance, and everyone's different, and your risk tolerance for it is also different person to person. But yeah, for me, just squats at least, my risk tolerance is pretty low. I won't often risk a lot with squats, because so much can go wrong. Yeah, it's just my opinion, but again, someone's risk tolerance might be higher, and they might have the safeties up, or have spotters, so they'll just go, fuck it, I'll go for it. But often, more likely than not, I do have the safeties up, a bit lower than normal, just because sometimes if you have them up too high, it can hit the plates. And I don't have spotters because I can't be fucked, and I'm doing hypertrophy lifts, so I'm not doing a weight for between 1 to 3 reps. It's usually at a minimum trying to go for 8, so I don't need a spotter in that sense because the weight's not high enough where I'm going to be risking it. But it will get to a point where I might need them on standby, but that probably won't be anywhere close unless I'm edging towards 200. Then I will probably have people on standby. Until then, we just cruise along, and just keep grinding, and happy days. So I'm happy, I'm pleased, looking forward to tomorrow. That's pretty much it. So I'll probably just leave it here. There's not much else to add. Hope you're doing well. Get to the gym, do your cardio, and I will catch you tomorrow when we start trying to smash out some quads. So I'll see you then.